All right, I've got a confession to make. I've been super busy lately at work, at my day job, and doing a bunch of traveling, and I just haven't had enough time to get out to the garage and work on stuff. You know, it's really important to me. I try to stick to a schedule where I'm releasing new full-length episodes every weekend, but I just haven't had enough time to, get out to the garage enough to make a full-length restoration or repair video. And I really want to stick to this schedule. It means a lot to me, and I'm trying to, make these videos for you all to enjoy. The other thing is I'm still really backed up on pickup videos. I've got a ton of project cabinets out in the garage that I haven't even shown you yet, and I really want to get caught up with that so you can see what's coming and what to expect from this channel. So in this video, we're going to knock out two birds with one stone. We're going to go pick up a new cabinet, because pickup videos are a lot easier and a lot less work and time consuming for me to make. So that's what we're going to do in this video. So this pickup is actually from back in March, and I got this cabinet in Ohio on the same trip when I went and I got the Atari Irish Kangaroo. Now that pickup came from an abandoned mall, a mall that had shut down years ago, and I kind of rescued that cabinet from it. This cabinet that I'm picking up today, a little bit different. It's coming from an arcade that's shutting down, right? So I think they were closing a location and maybe moving to a new one or consolidating into another location. But in any event, they were selling off some of their games, and I went and I grabbed one of them. So let me show you some photos from the listing here. The first thing we're going to see right off the bat is this is a Defender. This is a Williams Defender cabinet. It's clearly been converted to a super high impact football, which is a game I don't really care about. But I have really wanted a Defender for quite a while. And it's not just any Defender. If you look closely, this thing is an early Defender with a silver coin door, which is exactly the kind of Defender that I wanted. I wanted a Defender with a silver coin door, and that's what we've got here. So that's what we're gonna go pick up. Now, the beginning of this video was actually filmed back in March, so you're gonna see me, at this arcade, picking it up, getting it loaded on the truck, and that sort of thing. And I'm trying to be maybe a little bit coy and act like the cabinet is a mystery or a surprise, and I've actually gone and spoiled that already by telling you here that it is a Defender. So yeah, it's a Defender, don't get confused. I also want to take an opportunity here real quick to thank our newest Overtime Arcade paid channel members, and that would be Fremont Ave Experience and Random Fun and Games. Guys, I really appreciate your support. It means a ton to me. So yeah, with that out of the way, why don't we go pick up this cabinet, bring it home, get it into the garage, tear into it, and see what we've got going on. So if that sounds like fun, why don't we get started? Let's go!
Overtime!
All right, guys, I'm back in the truck for another pickup. And this is actually the same trip to Ohio when I got the Atari Kangaroo and the Irish cabinet. So yeah, 2 different days, 2 different pickups, 2 different games, same trip to Ohio. So I guess, Ohio is the promised land. It's still rainy, so we're going to have to wrap it up really good. We're expecting some pretty high winds today that I'm a little bit concerned about. And I've got to stand at least one of the games up. So we'll have to take it slow driving home. This one is actually more towards Youngstown, Ohio, so the eastern part of the state, kind of near Pittsburgh a little bit, whereas the Kangaroo was in the Cincinnati area. And I could be mistaken, but I think this one is also actually at an abandoned mall, so that'll be interesting again. But yeah, this is a game that I have been looking for at least a couple of years. It's definitely not rare. They made at least 50, 60,000 of this particular game, but just something that hasn't fallen to my lap before now. It is a conversion, so we're going to have to deconvert it to turn it back to its original game, and we're going to have to strip the black paint off of the side, so you know how much I love that. So yeah, why don't we head out on the road? We'll go grab this thing and load it up on the truck, get it all wrapped up and secure, and take it home and see what we got. All right, and here we are at Fun and Games Rewind Arcade. I believe it is Boardman, Ohio. So yeah, not an abandoned mall this time. But I guess they're either downsizing a little bit. I think he said they were moving a couple of games to a new location, but yeah, here we are, loaded up on the truck. You're gonna have to wait until next time to see, or you'll have to wait until the end of the episode or when we get this back home to find out what it is exactly. This is my Ohio trip, so the Atari Irish Kangaroo cabinet is up here standing up. I think I might throw the bungee spiderweb on top of that because we're expecting some winds and rain. And yeah, the game that I just picked up today is laying down in the back of the truck. A little bit of hangover. I'm not too worried about it. It's nice and secure in here. So yeah, why don't I head out on the road back home and I'll show you what I got when we get there. All right, here it is off the truck and in the garage. The Defender that's been converted to super high impact football. So let's take a quick look at what we got here. Obviously the marquee has been changed. I don't actually think this is the original T-molding. It doesn't look like it's mounted sort of perfect and it's smooth. I think it was a leather texture T-molding, but I could be wrong. Our speaker grill has been punched in, which is very common for Williams cabinets. I've already got a reproduction for that from Winslow. Obviously we have, this is not the correct bezel, and look at that, it's great reflection. This is just like a plexi sort of tinted piece there. Here we have our hacked up control panel that we'll have to sort of fix, and it's got an interesting sort of plexi over it, but it's like a wrap, so it's flexible, which is not something I've seen all that much. Here's our silver coin door, the gem of this cabinet. Looks pretty good. We've got a couple of the plastic inserts are busted, but we can replace those. We've got I think, obviously either a hole for a credit switch, a credit button, or a lock bar, so we'll just fill that probably with a carriage bolt. And yeah, looking pretty good. For the most part, the cabinet seems to be in pretty good shape. Obviously, the sides have been painted black, so we'll have to strip that black paint off, and we've got these decals here for the conversion. And if you look super closely, if that'll focus, it looks like there's two stickers here. So my hypothesis is this was originally converted to high impact and then later to super high impact. So two different football games. Yeah, cabinet looks pretty good, a little dinged up, but no major water damage or anything like that. In a couple of spots we have a little bit of damage like this, so like some missing kind of wood on the inside. Probably somebody kicked it, so we'll have to go and repair that. That won't be too bad. This side is not as good as the other side, so this is a little bit chewed up on the bottom, the plywood here, very common for Williams cabinets, so we'll fix that with Bondo and some paint. And yeah, the other side over here, another chip in the corner, but really not terrible overall. You know, a couple dings right here. If we open up the coin door, we've got our coin mix on the inside, and there's three of them. Kind of neat, more like a pinball machine setup. And you know, like cool, you know, like this is so so early, right? So I think Defender is a 1980 game. The credit switches, are leaf switches, if this will focus. So the coin falls down, hits this bar, and closes that leaf switch. Same thing over here, obviously. So that's kind of neat, and not something I have in any of my other games, I don't think. The little test switches here, two of them are busted, so we'll have to figure out some way to repair that. Interlock switch, this is like some speaker wire that's been added for missing ground. And if you can look really closely here, ignore that grossness. The cover for the coin bucket is actually from an F-14 Tomcat Williams pinball game, so that's kind of weird. But, you know, operators sort of would do whatever they would, would make do with whatever they had. So I've already taken the back of the cabinet off. We've got some stickers here, but most of these are beat up and missing. I'm assuming this N776 is some kind of inventory number. this particle board or whatever is a bit, chewed up, or I don't know what you would call this. It's like flaking the paint off. But yeah, not the original monitor. So this, I believe, Defenders originally came with K4600s, and this is a K7000, so more a later monitor, but we can make do with this. I think I actually have a 4600 chassis, and I've got a tube with Defender burn somewhere, but I think it's actually a G07 tube. You see this ribbon cable, rainbow cable coming down to the remote board for the K7000 mounted on the inside of the cabinet. We've got all this JAMA wiring here, kind of a mess, but we might be able to repurpose this for something. I've already collected a Defender board set and a harness, so we should be able to just rip this out and install the original stuff. I think I do have a Defender power supply because we're missing that down here. It's been replaced with this switching power supply. Fortunately, we do have the original isolation transformer and the rest of the power set up down here, so I should be able to install the original Defender power supply setup down here, mount the boards over here. I think this is where they were. I don't know if maybe, they weren't on the door because the door's not hinged. There's a spider right there. So mount the board set there and figure that out. I think this is the original volume pot right there, which is great, and it's even got that gray wire there to connect it. So we do have some parts in here that seem somewhat original. There's this interlock switch that's sort of been electrically taped, or electrical tape closed. Looking up here at the top of the cabinet above the monitor, we can see the speaker, and behind the marquee, I don't know if there's supposed to be some sort of baffle or something covering that up, but yeah. So I think that is a crack on the flyback. Yep, flyback is cracked, so we'll probably have to replace that. And yeah, kind of what I want to do now, right? So when I bought this, it was listed as the power supply had gone. So I think I want to test this and just to sort of see what we're dealing with. We have another piece of, I don't know what this is from. Maybe part of the power harness from the original Defender harness. I want to plug this in and just kind of test the switching power supply and see if it is totally shot or what. So let me get set up for that. I'll plug it in and I'll grab my multimeter and we can test this harness. All right, the cabinet power cord is plugged in, and I think I'm ready to test this power supply. The monitor power is disconnected, nothing's plugged in. This did come actually with a working super high impact board set. I actually gave it to Liam and Sam from Retrobotics as a bit of a housewarming gift for their moving into their new home. I helped them move in, and they're repurposing that soundboard for their Smash TV project, so it'll go to a good cause. So that's why there's no PCB inside of this. So yeah, let's. There's a power switch underneath the control panel, so let me go and throw that. And in theory, it should be on. I don't know if there's supposed to be an LED on the power supply, but we'll come in here and test the voltage. And we've got 120, 121 going into the power supply. So let's see if there's anything coming out of it. So ground is these blacks. That's a bit interesting. Oops, bump the camera. Oh, that's AC, that's why. Ha! Charlie. So 5 volts is too high. 5 is 5.7. And -5 is fine. 12 is fine. But we need to turn down the 5 volts. I mean, we've got no load hooked up, but I don't want to power it on with that much going to the harness. Maybe that's what's wrong with this thing. It's just it can't be turned down. Wow, this is just not adjusting, and I'm ruining my tool here. I'm gonna try. Let me try using a metal screwdriver. It's probably a terrible idea, but it's insulated, so shouldn't be too much of an issue. Wooden handle. So yeah, let me try to come in here and adjust this power supply. I can't even get my screwdriver in there. So we turn it off, unplug it, and see if I can do something with this by hand. All right, some needle nose pliers might be able to make this adjustment. All right, that moved it quite a bit. Let's see if that's done anything for us. All right, power cord's back in. Power switch is on. Let's see what we're getting now. 6.5. It's just... maybe this power supply is shot. All right, now it's way down. Okay, let's try to get it to 5 volts. For 9. I mean, I think I'm going to replace this power supply no matter what, just because it's adjusting in a very finicky way. Huh. You're seeing this, right? Don't think I have a spare to just swap in right here. So that's not terrible. And now it's falling. Maybe this power supply is just totally shot. You see it falling slowly. Maybe still not stabilizing. I mean, I could just throw my, what do you call it, 60-in-1 in there, but look at that. Maybe this pot is bad. Now it's kind of just wavering. So, but maybe that's fine. We'll hold that there. 12 is now low. 5 is now low, yeah. I think this power supply is just shot. Let me think if I've got another one I can swap in real quick. Okay, I had 3 old switching power supplies in my junk pile. 2 of them were not working right at all. And this one, I think, is actually from a Phoenix, a Centuri Phoenix. And it seems to be okay. The 5 volts is a little bit high, and the adjustment pot inside is sort of hot glued into place, so I can't really adjust it, but we'll test it with an actual load hooked up in a second. So I'm going to plug this back in, and I want to test the power going to the monitor. It should be fine, but always it's always worth checking. So here's our monitor power input right there. Put our multimeter onto AC volts. Stick our probes in here. All right. And let's actually put this down so that we can see what our voltage is. Can you see that? Yeah. So we're looking for something on the order of 120. And we've got 135, a little bit high, but that should be okay because the, isolation transformer kind of expects 110 to 115 and wants to bump it up to 120. But if we've already got 120 going to it, it's, you know, going to bump it up a little bit higher. All right, cabinet is off. And now what we can do, and I'll adjust the camera, push it over here. We're going to do a couple things. We will plug in the monitor into power. All we need to do for that is this. I do want to connect it to the ground strap because it's not properly grounded in there and it needs to be. So grab a little alligator wire here. So grab onto the strap, the grounding strap, and we'll just grab ground. Right there is fine. The video signal is connected, and we can come down here and plug our little 60-in-1 JAMA board into a harness. Okay. All right, let that dangle there. And I'm going to turn this on with the, well, actually, let me turn it on first just to make sure that, let's do this, just to make sure that flyback doesn't explode at the speed of light. So we are plugged in, turning power on, 3, 2, 1. All right, the board is booting. Sync is messed up on the monitor. What does that say? Let's check our power level here. It's not quite booting the way I expect it to, maybe because the voltage isn't correct. Let's see what we got on the 5-volt line. .35. It's a little high, but it should be okay. Let's come over here and see what we got on the monitor. So let me fix this real quick. So, I mean, the monitor is kind of working, but I don't think the board is booting properly because the voltage is too high. Let me mess with this power supply a little bit and see if I can bring it back down. All right, I think I figured it out. You know, the voltage is still a little bit higher than I'd like on the 5 volts, but that's why we're testing it with the 60-in-1 board and not a real PCB that we care about. So as you can see, it is booting now. If we come around to the front of the cabinet and sort of see what's on the screen there, we have our little system initialization thing from the 60-in-1, and really there was 2 issues that I had to fix. One was it wasn't booting because it was in test mode, okay? And I was able to fix that just with, there's actually a test switch that's wired in right there, if you can see it. So I switched that out of test mode, and it booted right up. And the other thing, I had to make some adjustments to the sync, but we're good. Monitor's a little bit dim. You know, we've got a bit of a curl, but hey, we've got a working JAMA harness. We've got a working monitor for the most part. It needs to be, you know, I don't really want to mess with that flyback since it's got a crack, but hey, it's working, so can't really complain there. All right, I did fidget with the monitor just a little bit, adjusted the brightness and the focus, you know, the screen pot and the focus pot, and it's okay. It's not really locking in focus, so I'm probably going to have to replace that flyback and do a cap kit, but there's one more thing that I can do, sort of this first step in this restoration. And, you know, we've got a decent amount of work here. We've got to strip the black paint off and hopefully recover the original stenciled side art. I would not want to redo the Defender stencils, but if I have to, I will. We'll have to install the Defender harness and board kit and make sure the power supply and all that's working. But the first thing we can do here, oh, hey, Donkey Kong. So the speaker's working, so that's good. We can go ahead and replace this Marquee. So let's pull this out. And I don't know if these are the original. Man, that is wedged in there good. See if I can loosen up from below a little bit. And you know, it's got these plastic Marquee brackets. And is that what they used originally? Can that possibly be true? I can't imagine Williams would use plastic brackets like this, but yeah, it works. There we go. Get that out of there. And you know, I might have a bulb actually that we can pop into that. Let's take a look here. F14T8. Now we're missing a couple screws. Yeah, we got a new bulb for that. This is a F14T12, which hopefully would work. Let's pop this in here. Let me do this with the cabinet off. Okay. Okay. And I did find a screw. Where was it? Right here. Let's actually mount this. I think this came from the cabinet. I'm going to mount this a little bit better just because it feels like it wants to fall out. There we go. That should hold the Marquee light set up a little bit better in there. All right, let's turn this on. I hope that light comes on. Maybe it's the starter. Let's try a new starter. I think I'm running out. I need to pick up some more. Come on. Come on. There we go. Yeah, I got starters up here. Yeah, this is my last FS2 starter. Hopefully this does the trick. No. That's curious. Is it not plugged in? Let's see. That goes here. There we go. There we go. Now we got some light. Just had to mess with it a little bit. Actually, let me see if the starter was the problem. Well, that doesn't help. You can take out a starter while the Marquee light is running, and it'll still run, which I guess makes sense, right? It's in the name, starter, not. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't seem to want to do it. So let's put the new starter in, and hopefully this helps identify. Yep, I don't want to do that. All right, let's get that in there. All right, Marquee light's on. Let me actually try this old bulb just to see if it works, right? There's no sense in putting a new one in if the old one does work. Especially if, you know, you gotta replace them eventually anyway, so. Come on. There we go. Even the original bulb works. It was just a starter, so cool. So yeah, the last thing I think we can do here is drop in a Marquee. So this is an original Defender Marquee. Needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but yeah, you can see there's a couple flecks of daylight poking through there, but not too terrible. Again, I don't know if this is the original brackets. If you know, please leave me a comment down below and tell me if yours is like this. It's just plastic with Phillips head screws. Just connect this real quick. All right. How does that look? Now, obviously, the 60-in-1 has vertical games, and Defender is a horizontal. So we won't be able to play Defender with this PCB, but that's just for testing. So yeah, how's that? Oh, Galaga, is that close enough? Anyway, it's bright in here, so you can't quite tell necessarily that marquee light is on, but look at that. We're making progress. And yeah, we'll strip off all the paint on the sides and hopefully recover the original stenciled side art. We'll fix up this control panel and put the correct controls on it. We'll fix up the coin door a little bit, and we'll get obviously a new marquee, or I'm sorry, a new bezel. Marquee looks fine. Like I said, you can see a little bit of light poking through, maybe a bit right there, but we might actually be able to repair that with some hobby paint. But yeah, this should be a fun project. Defender is a cabinet, is a game that I've wanted for a while, and I definitely wanted the one with the silver coin door, so that should be great. So I think we'll probably wrap it up here as we hear that classic 60-in-1 music. But yeah, if this is your first time on the channel, thanks for watching. Consider subscribing. I do new videos like this every weekend and sometimes some shorts in between. I do live streams a couple times, monthly or whatever. I've got a podcast, Coin Jam Podcast. Check it out. If you like this video, hit that like button down below. It really helps me out. Tells YouTube to recommend videos like this to people like you. And if you really, really like what we're doing, click on that join button down below to learn about becoming a Overtime Arcade paid channel member. For just $2 a month, you get access to some awesome perks, like a monthly members-only live stream, our really awesome private members-only Discord server. You get early access to all new videos and lots more. And it's really been taken off. I think we're over 21 members now, which is fantastic. Really appreciate all the support from all those folks. So yeah, I think we'll wrap it up here. As always, I'm Charlie. You've been watching Overtime Arcade, and I'll see you next time.
Overtime!